Welcome back, everybody, to another deep dive. This time, we're heading over to Nigeria,
Oh,
in
yeah.
Ondo State.
Fascinating place.
It is. And, on the surface, this recent gubernatorial election
Mm-hmm.
looks like a pretty straightforward victory for the incumbent.
Right.
But I gotta ask you,
Yeah?
what if I told you there was a whole lot more to this story?
Well, it usually is, right?
There is.
Especially when you have an election with results that look this decisive.
Yeah, because we're talking landslide victory.
Exactly.
But then you dig a little deeper and you find all these accusations about whether the election was actually fair.
Yeah, you start to see these cracks in the surface.
Exactly. So let's rewind a bit.
Okay.
The current governor, Lucky Aiyedatiwa, he didn't actually get elected in the usual way.
Right.
He took over after the previous governor, Rotimi Akeredolu,
Uh-huh.
passed away in December of 2023.
Yeah, so he kind of inherited the governorship,
Yeah.
went into this election as the incumbent, but without that same track record.
Yeah, and even with that, he won by a huge margin.
Massive.
We're talking 248,000 votes.
Wow.
Ahead of his closest rival, Aiyedatiwa,
Yeah.
from the People's Democratic Party.
At PDP.
And he won all 18 local government areas.
That's like winning every county in a state.
It is. It's a clean sweep.
Yeah. So you have to ask, with a win that big, why are there all these questions?
Well, that's what we're going to try to unpack today.
Okay, sounds good.
Abdullah, the runner-up,
Right.
he's not going down without a fight.
Okay.
He's making some pretty serious accusations about
Yeah.
how this whole thing went down,
Right.
specifically about INE.
Okay. The Independent National Electoral Commission.
Yes. They're the ones responsible for running the elections over in Nigeria.
Right.
He's saying that they basically compromised the election, and he's pointing to this thing called the BVAS system
Yeah.
as evidence.
But what is he saying about the BVAS system?
Well, he's claiming that it was either totally mishandled
Right.
or intentionally compromised. What do you think?
Well, it's interesting because this BVAS system,
Yeah.
it's a biometric voter accreditation system.
Right.
So it was actually designed to stop the very problems
Yeah.
that he's alleging.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's supposed to make it harder to commit voter fraud and
Well-
manipulate the results.
Right. So either it failed spectacularly
Right.
or there's something else going on.
And to make matters even more complicated.
Oh, there's more.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Abdullah is also alleging widespread vote buying.
Interesting.
He even went so far as to call for the resignation of the INEC chairman.
Wow. That's a pretty bold move.
It is.
What do you think is behind that?
Well, INEC, they're responsible for overseeing the elections.
Yeah.
But they rely a lot on local officials
Right.
to actually run things.
Okay.
And that's where things can get a little tricky.
Especially in a place like Ondo State, where there's a bit of a history of political maneuvering.
Exactly. So on one hand, we have this landslide victory, but then on the other, we have these really serious accusations.
It's a fascinating puzzle.
It is. So how do we make sense of all of this?
Well, I think we need to take a step back
Okay.
and look at the bigger picture.
Okay, so what's the bigger picture here?
Well, Ondo State,
Yeah.
like a lot of Nigeria,
Uh-huh.
has been struggling with poverty and unemployment.
Mm-hmm.
And these factors create an environment where vote buying can thrive.
Yeah, because if you're struggling to make ends meet
Right.
and someone offers you cash for your vote,
yeah,
that's a difficult situation.
it is. And it really highlights the complex reality
Yeah,
of what we're dealing with here.
absolutely. And it's not just about who won or lost.
No,
It's about the integrity of the whole system.
exactly.
If vote buying is as widespread as some people are alleging,
Right.
then did the results really reflect what the people wanted?
That's the key question, isn't it?
Yeah, and this isn't just a one-off thing.
No,
Vote buying has been a problem in Nigerian elections for years.
it's a recurring theme.
And what's really interesting is that even with this BVAS system...
Yeah, which was designed to fix this.
Exactly.
We're still seeing these accusations.
Yeah.
It suggests that maybe there's a deeper systemic problem.
Okay, so we've established that this election is not as simple as it might seem.
Definitely not.
So where do we go from here?
Well, that's what we're going to explore in the rest of this deep dive.
Great. I can't wait to dig deeper.
Me too.
So stick with us.
Be right back. So Aiyedatiwa, he's got this huge mandate.
Yeah.
He can point to this victory and say, hey, look, the people chose me.
Yeah.
But if those votes were bought,
Right.
does that mandate really mean anything?
Yeah, it's like this cloud hanging over his administration.
Exactly.
Even if he does everything right,
Yeah.
delivers on all his promises,
Uh-huh.
there's always going to be that question.
Right.
Did he actually win legitimately?
And it's not just about him.
No.
It's about the whole system.
Right.
If people start to believe that their votes don't matter,
Yeah.
why even bother participating?
It's a slippery slope.
It is.
And it makes you think about the people who didn't vote for him.
Right.
What are they supposed to do?
Yeah. Do they just accept the result even if they think it was rigged?
Yeah. It's a tough spot to be in.
It is.
And it creates this division within the state.
Absolutely.
So we've talked a lot about vote buying,
Mm-hmm.
but we haven't really explored what can be done about it.
Yeah. It's a tough one.
It seems like INE has tried.
Right. They implemented the BVAS system,
Yeah.
but it clearly hasn't been totally effective.
No. So what are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it's a complex problem,
Yeah.
and it needs a multifaceted solution.
Okay.
Technology is definitely a part of it.
Yeah.
BVAS is a step in the right direction,
Okay.
but it needs work.
Right.
But we also have to address the underlying causes.
So like the poverty and unemployment.
Exactly.
Okay.
We need to empower people,
Yeah.
help them make informed decisions.
So it's not just about stopping people from buying votes. It's about creating a society
Yeah,
where people don't feel like they have to sell their vote.
exactly. And that also requires
What?
strong law enforcement.
Whoa.
There have to be real consequences
Yeah.
for people who engage in vote buying.
Mm-hmm.
If they think they can get away with it,
Yeah.
they'll keep doing it.
That makes sense.
So we're really talking about a big cultural shift here.
We are.
And it's not going to happen overnight.
No.
But I think we have to have these conversations,
Yeah.
raise awareness,
Uh-huh.
keep pushing for change.
Absolutely.
So we've talked about the allegations,
Mhm.
the potential consequences,
Yeah.
possible solutions.
What stands out to you in all of this?
What do you think our listeners should really remember?
Yeah.
I think the biggest takeaway is that democracy is fragile.
Okay.
It needs constant attention,
Mm-hmm.
not just from the government,
Yeah.
from all of us.
Right.
We can't just assume that everything's going to be fine.
Yeah, we have to actually participate. Hold our leaders accountable.
Mm-hmm.
Demand a system that's fair.
Exactly.
I like that.
It's easy to get caught up in the specifics of this one election.
Right.
But the point about democracy being fragile
Yeah.
really puts things into perspective.
It does. It's bigger than Ondo State.
It is.
What happens there
Yeah,
impacts democracy everywhere.
it does. It reminds us that this fight for a fair and just world,
Mm-hmm.
it never really ends.
It's ongoing.
Yeah.
You mentioned vigilance.
Right.
What does that look like in practice?
What can our listener do?
Yeah. If they're interested in supporting democracy.
Well, they can educate themselves,
Okay.
learn about the issues,
Mm-hmm.
talk to people who have different views,
Yeah.
support organizations
Mhm.
that are fighting for transparency and accountability.
Right. And of course, vote.
Yes, of course.
Make your voice heard.
All of these things,
Yeah.
they make a difference.
I do.
Every conversation,
Mhm.
every vote,
Yeah.
every little bit of engagement.
Makes democracy stronger.
It does.
And I think that's a great message for our listener today. It's been a wild ride unpacking this election.
It has.
We started with what seemed like a pretty simple win,
Uh-huh.
but the more we learned,
Right.
the more questions we had.
That got complicated.
It did.
Yeah.
So now I'm wondering what happens next.
Yeah.
Ondo State has a new governor,
Right.
but can he really govern effectively with all this doubt hanging over the election?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is.
Aiyedatiwa, he's got some serious challenges.
Yeah, like what?
Well, he needs to deliver on the economy.
Right, all those issues we talked about.
Exactly. And he has to find a way to bring the state together.
Yeah, after such a divided election.
That's right.
But can he do that if people don't even trust that he won fairly?
It's going to be tough.
It is.
I mean,
Okay.
will people believe in his policies,
Right.
or will they just be thinking about how he got elected?
It's a tough spot to be in.
It is. And it's not just about how it looks.
Okay.
If these vote buying allegations are true,
Yeah.
then there are some powerful people
Okay.
who might be expecting something in return.
You mean like favors?
Exactly.
So Aiyedatiwa is in a real bind. He has to help the people,
Yeah.
but he might also owe something to the people who helped him get elected.
And that brings us back to that idea
Yeah.
of democracy being fragile.
Right.
This whole thing in Ondo,
Mm-hmm.
it shows the problems
Yeah.
that democracies are facing all over the world.
Yeah. We can't just sit back and assume that it's going to be okay.
We have to be active.
We have to protect it.
Exactly.
Hold our leaders accountable.
And make sure the system is fair.
So it's a constant fight.
It is.
It never really ends.
It doesn't. And everyone has a part to play.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, This is the last stage. And I read so that people will know I'm talking about. Thank you. Sorry. Independent National Electoral Commission. I, Professor Olayemi Durotimi Akinwumi, hereby certify that I am the returning officer for the 2024 Ondo State Governorship election held on the 16th day of November 2024. The election was contested. The candidates received 58. Ajayi Adekunle Oluwaseyi of AAC 304. Nejo Adeyemi of ADC 4138. Akinodi Ayodeji Emmanuel of ADP 1522. Aiyedatiwa Lucky Orimisan of APC 366781. Popola Olatunji Tunde APGA 623. Ogun Feyimi Isaac Kolawole of APM 162. Fadoju Amos Babatunde APP 3. For the Labour Party, there is a court case that the name should be substituted with Olorunfemi Ayodele Festus. Olorunfemi Ayodele Festus 1162. 1162. Olugbenga Omogbemi Edema of NNPP 206. Ajaun Noko Fumilayo Jenyo of NRM 298. Ajayi Alfred Agbola of PDP 11784. Ali Babatunde Francis of PRP 229. Akinboye Benson Bamidele of SDP 43. Adegoke Paul of YP 134. Akinmurele John 216. Mimiko Bansile Abbas of ZLP 2692. That Aiyedatiwa Lucky Orimisan of APC, having satisfied the requirement of the law, is hereby declared the winner and is returned elected. Signed by Professor. Thank you and God bless Nigeria. Please, party agent, just come and collect your copies, please.
Party.
So I want you to think about what you can do
Yeah.
to strengthen democracy
In our own communities.
everywhere.
I think that's a great point to end on.
I do too.
This deep dive into Ondo State.
Mm.
It's been really eye-opening.
It's complicated.
It is. We uncovered some tough truths
Who did?
about how elections work,
But hopefully you got people thinking.
thinking about the future of democracy.
That's what we want.
And to our listeners,
Yeah.
thank you for joining us on this